Most people hear the word discipline and immediately think of punishment, rigid routines, early alarms, saying no to dessert. Basically, no fun allowed. But what if I told you that self-discipline isn't about restrictions? It's about freedom, not the kind of freedom where you do whatever you feel like in the moment. No. I'm talking about the kind of freedom where you are in control, not your cravings, not your impulses, and definitely not your phone. Real freedom is when you're no longer a prisoner of yourself. Let's start with a little story. Imagine a hot, sunny day. A bee named Bertha is buzzing around with her hive mates, enjoying life and doing typical bee things. Suddenly, a hungry bear shows up, eyeing the hive for its sweet honey and bee larvae. Instinctively, Bertha does what bees are biologically wired to do. She stings the bear to protect her home. But here's the thing, a honeybee dies after it stings. Bertha didn't know that. She didn't choose to sacrifice herself. Her biology made that decision for her. But we're not bees. And that's exactly the point. Unlike Bertha, we have the gift and burden of awareness. We can pause, reflect, choose. But how often do we actually use that power? Because even though we're not driven entirely by instinct, we still fall into the same trap, reacting instead of choosing, giving in to what feels good now, rather than what will be meaningful later. Let's say you want a healthy body, a thriving relationship, or a fulfilling career. All noble long-term goals. But here comes temptation. Junk food, endless scrolling, one more episode, one more level in that video game. You know the trade-off. You even feel the trade-off. Yet you give in anyway. Why? The answer is self-discipline, or lack of it. That's the thin, invisible line separating your current reality from the life you actually want. Self-discipline isn't about denying yourself joy. It's about choosing the kind of joy that lasts. It's saying no to the immediate pleasure, so you can say yes to something bigger, something better. It's the difference between reacting and responding, between living on autopilot and living with intention. But it's not just our own wiring we're up against. There's an entire ecosystem of manipulation working against our best intentions. Companies know exactly how to hijack our biological instincts. They create what scientists call supernormal stimuli, unnaturally intense versions of things our brains are wired to crave. Take junk food, for example. Our ancestors evolved to seek out fatty, salty, and sweet foods because they were rare and essential for survival. But now, we've got snacks scientifically engineered to be irresistible, perfectly calibrated combinations of sugar, fat, and salt that override our natural "I'm full" signals. You're not weak, you're being outgunned. And social media does the same thing. Our brains are wired to chase novelty, new information, new faces, new experiences. It used to help us survive. Now it just helps us scroll. One notification leads to another. One video leads to the next. It's a rabbit hole with no bottom, and you didn't even realize you jumped in. Even video games, yes, even those, are mimicking ancient environments where our ancestors hunted, explored, and achieved. But now, all that stimulation comes without the real effort or risk. Fake achievement, real dopamine. And again, you're hooked. Here's the real danger. When we don't practice self-discipline, we're not just wasting time. We're surrendering our freedom. We're letting our impulses, our distractions, and the algorithms decide how we live. That's not freedom. That's being managed by forces that don't care about you, only your attention. And you need to give that attention back to yourself. But there's good news. You're not a bee. You're not stuck with your default settings. You don't have to sting and die just because that's what biology tells you to do. You can pause. You can choose. That's what makes self-discipline so powerful. It's the key to breaking free, not just from bad habits, but from yourself when you're not at your best. It's the door that leads you out of short-term pleasure traps and into a life you actually want to live. So next time you think self-discipline sounds boring or rigid, remember this. Self-discipline is saying, I see the easy way, but I'm choosing the better way. It's not self-denial, it's self-respect. And in a world that constantly pulls you in 100 directions, being able to steer your own ship, that's real freedom. The choice is yours. You can stay reactive, or you can become deliberate. You can be a slave to your urges, or you can be the master of your life. In the end, the real question isn't if you have freedom, but if you've earned it through self-discipline, restraint, and intentional living. Freedom without structure is just disguised chaos. Without inner work and direction, it becomes a trap masquerading as liberty. And self-discipline? That's how you earn it. If you found this video meaningful and interesting, drop a comment below and share your experience. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who might find this content useful. And as always, thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time.